Do you want to discover more joy, peace, and freedom with food exercising your body? Here we bring a compassionate, holistic, and sustainable approach to fitness so you can fully enjoy the life you want and express your unique self with the world. I'm Michelle Roscoe, and I want to help you find fitness freedom. I'm so glad you're here. Hey, it's Michelle, and here is your fitness survival or thrivival, if you want to thrive, kit for the holiday season. I'm going to be giving you some tips that will help you in your health and your fitness during the holiday season. I know that some of you might be listening from the Southern Hemisphere where it is your summertime, and some of you, most of you, are probably listening from the Northern Hemisphere where it is your winter time. Regardless of what season you're in or the temperature where you're at right now, the holidays, the end of the year to the beginning of the new year, can be a lot. There's Christmas, there's New Year's, Hanukkah, if that's what you celebrate. It's a busy time of year collectively, and I used to be afraid of the holidays. It felt like a landscape of landmines to avoid. There were so many indulgent foods, so many no-nos, the temptation to eat so many calories, and of course the question, how will I burn everything off to exercise? You might not feel as extreme as I did, but in our culture, if you notice it, if you stop to notice it, there is often a constant background of guilt for eating too much or a looming fear of not exercising enough. It goes something like, it's the holidays, it's Christmas, I've worked hard this year, I deserve to enjoy the holidays, I'm going to indulge a little bit. And there's a sense of, maybe depending on your own experience with food, of eating too much, quote unquote, too much, and feeling bad about it, feeling guilty about it, or feeling like, oh, I'm not exercising enough. The winter's here. Our bodies naturally like to hibernate in the cold weather, if that's what your experience is. And then we think, you know what? We make some bargains with ourselves. I'm going to undo this. I'm going to eat a lot now, but I'll feel better about it by promising myself that in January next year, I'm going to eat better, I'm going to have healthier habits, I'm going to improve my lifestyle, I'm going to exercise more. And then that cycle continues through the holidays. There's kind of like this big macro cycle of, restrict, rebel, restrict, rebel. Maybe this is something that you deal with on a more micro level. Maybe it's something you do with daily or weekly or monthly, where you're, maybe restricting your food sometimes, whether that's a meal or it's a day of the week, or maybe you go on diets. Or you go for intermittent fasting. Maybe you wouldn't call it a diet. Maybe you try to restrict your food and then you get tired of it and you indulge and then you have to atone for it. I know this very well as someone who's recovered from disordered eating. I know how this affects your psyche and how it's often something that's super hidden. You might talk about it with some people, but it is mostly just lives in your brain, and it might even consume your brain a lot. Whether that's you, or maybe you're a little bit more mild and you're not even necessarily aware of everything that I'm talking about. It's just like, what's going on? I haven't noticed that. Or yeah, maybe that makes sense. I want to give you some tips to help you thrive in your health this holiday season. Through all of the talk about, we got to lose weight, or I'm eating too much, or bad foods, good foods, or, I really got to work this off, or I'm earning this meal because I worked out yesterday. All of those messages that you hear that all have to do with this cycle of restrict and rebel, and really a generally unhealthy relationship with food and our bodies and exercise. So here are 3 tips, okay? Number 1, zoom out. Instead of just thinking in days or weeks or even months, think of your life in a big picture sense. So zoom out, look at your life. You might want to imagine being in an airplane and looking down at your life from, the last few years, kind of looking at a big cycle. You might want to see your life as on a path. Whatever imagery is helpful for you, think about your life in a big picture sense and realize that, one meal, one day of eating 1 week of eating or exercise or not exercising is not going to ruin your health. There's often a fear that, you're going to indulge for a day or 2 days and then you feel really guilty about it and you're ruining all your progress. And you might even see yourself differently in the mirror if you deal with body dysmorphia. Just realize that 1 day or that 1 weekend is not going to ruin your health. Just like, put this in the reverse, this helps. If you were mostly eating, let's say you mostly ate highly processed foods that were low in nutrient quality for most of the time, most of your meals were made up of those foods, and you ate healthy for one meal. That's not going to drastically improve your health. Or if you never work out and then you do a workout one day, you're not going to see drastic results from that. What we do most of the time consistently is what matters the most for our health. Most of the time consistently. So zooming out, look at your life in a big picture sense. And if you realize, most of the time consistently, I'm not doing things that are really healthy for me, then that's another thing you could consider. But that kind of leads me into the next point, which is tip number 2, know that there's no on or off switch to your health. And this is kind of like with diet culture and with the restrict and rebel cycle that I mentioned, where you're really tight with your eating habits, we're really strict with your exercise, and then you get so tired of it and you're exhausted and you let go completely and you rebel and you eat everything you want to eat and everything that you were telling yourself no for, or you just completely become a couch potato, or maybe somewhere in between those drastic extremes. But there's no on or off switch to your health. There's no, okay, I'm going to turn my health on right now and everything I do matters. Okay, now I'm going to turn my health off and nothing I do matters. Every choice you make is either a little bit towards healthier or towards non-healthier. This is something I've been thinking about. I read The Kybalion recently, as it's a book about the universal laws, and I am always looking for truth. I'm always looking to understand the world. I think it's been a lifelong quest of mine. Maybe you can relate. But yeah, I read it, and there's one law called the law of polarity, and it really tracks with what I've seen to be true in fitness. There's no complete black or complete white, or we can say that most things fall within this spectrum. So black and white are the same, they're just different in degree. Just like light and dark are the same, they're different in degree, or good and bad are the same, they're just different in degree. If you can think about health and non-health being the same, just different in degree, and wanting to make choices that move you closer, just a little bit closer to healthier, that will help you make more positive decisions. Because a lot of the times what we encounter with these restrict rebel cycles and this, like, I'm going to indulge during the holidays and let myself go during December, and then January I'm going to clean it up. There's a black and white. I'm healthy, I'm not healthy. I'm healthy, it's bad, it's good. This food is bad and I'm bad if I eat it. This food is good and I'm good if I eat it. It's really black and white. And if you can kind of throw that out of the window or the door, or throw it down the drain, wherever you want to throw it, you throw it away. And instead take on this polarity, this spectrum. That's a good word. I love spectrums. I'm queer and I love spectrums. We're all on the spectrum, just in different places. Okay, so I'm digressing. I'm talking about queerness, not health. Let's go back. So if you could see your health as, on a spectrum, another helpful way is to think of a dial. So if you think of a dimmer, there's the on and off switch, yes, but then there's the dimmer where you can bring it a little lighter, or you can lower the lights to make it a little bit darker. Think about that. So instead of completely throwing out, your healthy habits and your exercise habits out the window, think about what's the little thing that you could do that would move you closer to health. Just the little thing that you could do today, rather than, throwing it all out the window. Because really, you're always making decisions either for your health or towards that healthier or towards unhealthier. There's no in between. You're always just making a choice a little bit towards or a little bit away from your health, or a little bit towards unhealth, away from health. I hope that makes sense to you. Number 3, this goes along with what I was just saying for number 2. Take a holistic take on your health, okay? So holistic take. Take a holistic take on your health. And what I mean by that is your health is not just what you eat or how you move. Your health, and we're understanding this more and more. Some of us who've been, digesting this thought for a while is like, oh, okay, now the world's getting this now. For example, when I was in the years of my disordered eating, you could look on the outside, and it was true. People would look on the outside and say, wow, Michelle, you eat really healthy. You exercise, you're really fit. I had a really low resting heart rate. I was active. I didn't eat sugar. I did eat healthy. I ate pretty much all whole foods, grains, fats, proteins. Like, my diet was healthy, but inside, if you were to take a holistic view on my health, I was like the farthest thing from healthy. I was obsessed with food and exercise. My mental health was really shitty. It was really bad. I hated my body. I couldn't accept myself. Everything on the outside might have looked okay, but inside I was suffering. So health is not just food and exercise. It's everything else. It's the quality of your sleep, the quality of your mental health, the quality of your relationships. And the thing is, it's all inextricably linked. Like one of those rubber band balls. You can't take out one and say that it doesn't matter. All of it matters. Maybe there's a better analogy than rubber band balls, because you could probably take a rubber band off and it would be okay. Nothing's coming to mind. Maybe you can think of one. You can share it with me. DM me on Instagram or email me. What's a better analogy that you can think of while you're listening to this? Because I'm sure it's popping in your head right now, or it will in a little bit. Let me know. So our health, all these different parts of our health are inextricably linked. And during the holidays, we might feel guilty about not eating as well or not exercising as much. But think about, what are the other parts in your life that you're nurturing? Are you nurturing relationships? When you go, oftentimes when you go to the holidays, you're seeing family, you're maybe seeing friends. Maybe there's some torrid factors that come into your relationships as well. That's a part of your health, and that affects you. That affects your stress levels, your hormones, all of it. So like I said, let's go back to number 1. This all builds on each other. Let's zoom out. Instead of just thinking of days or weeks, think of your life in the big picture sense. Instead of just thinking about food and exercise, think about your whole life. If you were to rate different areas of your life, how much stress do you have? How much health do you have in your food, in your exercise, in your relationships, in your work life, in your emotions, in your mental health, all of those things. And remember that there's no on or off switch to your health. You can't turn it off. You're either moving towards healthier or towards unhealthier. And everyone's in a different place on that spectrum. And when you take all the different elements of our holistic health into account, we all end up in different places. And it's not about what, where Dan is at or where Francesca is at. It's about where you're at and what you can do, because you're the only one who can choose for yourself. All right, so I am in my kitchen right now. My office is a little cold. I didn't feel like going in my closet today. If you've been listening, you know I do my podcasts mostly in my closet. I'm here in my kitchen. It's warm. I have a cup of coffee next to me, and I feel like I've just been talking with you as a friend, someone who's listening in and cares about what I have to say. And I appreciate that. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you for being here. Please, if you enjoy this, if it resonates with you, please leave me a positive review on the podcast. And if you would like to share, that analogy that popped up in your head, or questions you have, or yes, this resonated with me, or whatever you would like to share, please reach out to me. On a personal note, yesterday I did this. It's not yesterday, the time that this is being released, but yesterday here in my time, I did this intense therapy session. I'm thankful for my therapist, and I realized that I have a lot of, deep beliefs and fears around being alone, not being able to trust people, feeling like I don't matter, that my work doesn't matter, and just wanting to be me and for that to be enough. And I realize how, in different areas of my life, I used to do it a lot with fitness. That was the main way that I expressed this, and I do it a lot with my business and my work. It feels so personal to me because it comes from my heart, and with that can sometimes come this vulnerability, like when I'm sharing things with you, like here in this podcast. There's a measure of me not just sharing, these tips with you, but sharing what's coming from my heart and what I've learned. And that can feel vulnerable if I don't get a lot of likes or listens, or I'm still working on that. So I just want to let you know that I want to be more of myself. What I really want is to be enough being me. And I think that it's true. I think that's my life lesson. I've had to learn it with fitness. I'm learning it with finances. I'm learning it with business. I'm learning it with work. I'm learning it in all different areas. And maybe one day my hard head will get it. But in case you need to hear it, you matter and you're enough being you. And you deserve good things. You absolutely deserve the best. And I hope that this is helpful for you. So I'm going to leave in the show notes, if you would like more practical tips for the holiday season, like I gave you some kind of mindset things, and those are very helpful. That's the most important thing. But if you want a little bit more like, okay, this is great, how can I apply it? Download my holiday guide. It's 5 tips that will help you over the holiday season. It's free. I'll put the link in the show notes and you can access that. And then after this, there's going to be a little preview for the Healthy Heroes that you can listen to. It's really amazing. It can absolutely help you practice that acceptance, practice the enoughness in your health and your fitness, and really see that when you stop trying so hard and you learn to accept yourself and you're open to learning about what works, what really works with food and exercise in your body, that you can live a more joyful life through fitness, not despite it. So there's going to be that preview there. Listen to it. The link is also in the show notes. I would love for you to join. If you don't want to join, you're automatically saying, I'm not ready for this, or I don't want this, and that's okay. But if you feel a pull and you're like, this looks like something that could help me, join. Don't hesitate. It's not a life or death choice. You're just making that choice on the spectrum towards more healthy. And I would love to see you there and to see how I could personally support you. Okay, like you, love you. Have a good day. Do you want to get the happy, healthy life that you want, that you really want, in a compassionate, sustainable, and holistic way, without the pain or strain, even if you've tried everything and it hasn't worked, or you're a complete fitness noob? Become the hero of your own body, health, and life by joining the Healthy Heroes. It's the most sustainably effective, enjoyable, and comprehensive fitness community to help you live your healthiest life and enjoy your fittest body without having to diet, punish yourself, restrict your food, or strain in pain. You can join as soon as today by clicking the link in the show notes. Let's become the hero of your own health so that you can enjoy your life to the fullest and express your unique self with the world.